welcome to episode 3 of Soap Scoop. I'm LJ and I'm joined by Johnny, both of us from Inside Soap magazine, of course. And this week we have an exclusive clip from Hollyoaks as Sienna tries to get away from Killer Jez.
Jez got us all together yesterday and told us that he's worried about you, so here we are.
Yeah, you have been acting out of sorts lately.
Lib told me that you're thinking of selling the flower store.
Yeah, well, people sell businesses all the time, Mark. It's no big deal.
This came completely out of nowhere. You know, and it's not just that. Like, why did you move in here when you came out of hospital instead of coming home?
I just did, Lib, okay? Can you tell everyone that I'm fine so I can go somewhere I really urgently need to be?
Sienna, we are all worried about you. Look, after talking to your dad, I think that this intervention is a good idea.
So we have a wonderful guest in Hollyoaks star Anna Passey coming up for you very shortly. But we are going to get into this drama between Sienna and Jez that is coming up next week. I mean, Johnny, we've gone from Sienna finding out about Jez, faking amnesia, and then in the week that we're previewing Hollyoaks fans, she's going to get chased around the garden centre by her killer dad. Discuss.
It's a soap first. I mean, we've had all sorts of super soap weeks, haven't we? We've had Outward Bound, Adventure Days go wrong. We've had, I don't know, trams crashing into the cobbles, floods, fires. Have we ever had I can't believe I'm saying this, a garden centre showdown? Such potential, if you think about it, in a garden centre for physical violence. Like, not that we condone that on Soap Scoop. But you know those big trolleys, we're thinking about this. When you go to the garden centre, those massive trolleys you get, because you've got to put all your like big plant pots on and your big bags of fertiliser. They're like getaway cars. Are Sienna and Jez going to be like on one of those? It's like little tuk-tuks. So they can have a little chase round, you know, like a little car chase with those. Also, big spades, whacking people around the head with spades. Crowds, garden implements. This could be like a Tarantino movie. This could get... There's so many props. I can't wait for it.
And can you imagine if you were the customer at the garden centre and you were just picking up your magnolias or your rose bush or just, you know, something, that really delightful Saturday trip that you take out with your other half or your mum or your sister, and then there's these mad people running around trying to kill each other.
I am a bit scared though, because Jez needs more victims, because you can't have a serial killer in soap and not have a victim every couple of weeks. I mean, surely Sienna's safe, isn't she? She must be on the safe list at Hollyoaks.
I think Sienna's going to come through this because Sienna can come through anything. I mean, I'm amazed that we're talking to Anna later on in the show, as Sienna, of course, because she's just plunged over a balcony, as did Jez. They both survived it, which is just absolutely bonkers, but thank mercy they did. In the meantime, let's talk about the fact that when we last picked up with Hollyoaks, Sienna was faking the amnesia, and clearly that's all going to have come out in the wash by the time he's chasing her around the garden centre with his trowel. So what do you think happens in between? Because, of course, Hollyoaks viewers, you've got a whole week before we get to garden centre gate.
I think what we have to trust is that our lady Sienna, our heroine, she's faked amnesia. Sienna's faked pregnancy in the past to try and entrap Darren. Remember when she fancied Darren, tried to take over his life, like the hand that rocks the cradle? She also faked cancer, which is like awful and horrible. How good an actress is Sienna, the made-up fake character? She fakes everything. If Hollyoaks had like an Amdram group, I think Sienna would lead it. She'd be the director because she can convince the world of anything. Do you know what I mean? But saying that, yeah, is Jez going to cotton on to this fake amnesia quite soon? Hence, garden centre showdown. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's Sienna's default, isn't it? Oh, I'm in a bit of a bind. Oh, I know, I'll make something massive up and just hope it works.
I might do it tomorrow, Johnny, just in life. Like, I'm just going to pretend that I've forgotten. I mean, do you know what? I don't want to, obviously, you know, people who genuinely suffer from amnesia, like, we're not poking fun of that. But in soap, when you are using it to get away from your serial killer father, it's justified.
It's absolutely justified. And I think maybe if we're going to try it in real life, LJ, maybe some low level. I've forgotten how the Hoover works. I don't know. No, what do you mean the washing up? I don't know what that means. Like, yeah, we can just use it to escape household chores. Let's keep it low level for now before we start escaping serial killer relatives.
I mean, if I'm honest, this wouldn't be much of a departure for me because I used the excuse that I was banned from using the iron when I was 15 because I messed up my mum's iron with the school project, the newspaper transfer on the...
What did you do?
I was making a corset that half of it was denim, the other half of it was newspaper print because that was so fashionable back then. And I used my mum's iron to iron the transfer on, and basically it all stuck. Like the glue of the transfer stuck to the iron, it ruined it. My mum and dad told me it was broken for good and I had to pay them back in installments. But actually, my dad fixed the iron and they still took my money. But I've gone off on a wild tangent.
The irons have been used as soap weapons. Can we just say hashtag Little Bo and Trevor? So all roads lead to soap, LJ. There's no tangents in this podcast.
Thank mercy. Speaking of tangents, actually, the other thing I really want to talk to you about is evil twins in soap. Now, whenever we see a character that we really, really like on screen, we always say, oh, wouldn't it be good if they could just come back as an evil twin? Because if the show's killed them off or they've gone to jail, or let's just get their twin back, or not even necessarily an evil twin, a nice twin. And I love that Hollyoaks did that with Jeremy Sheffield's character. I mean, I remember Patrick. I'd love to say that, was Patrick slightly nicer than Jez? Like, Patrick didn't kill people?
It looks that way that, yeah, we didn't know we were well off. Patrick was actually the better deal. Who knew? But yeah, just shows how unpredictable those identical twins can be.
I'm still haunted by Patrick whenever he used to walk into a room and go, Maxine, a word, please. Like that. And genuinely terrified of him. But Jez kills people. So, I'm not sure who is the lesser evil. We might have to say Patrick. But I love this idea of bringing back the same actor to play a twin. For me, I'd love like EastEnders to have like a Rex Manning as a Max Branning's brother, perhaps. Or
listen of Jake Wood coming back. He's actually, what did you say, Rex Manning?
I think it was when Stacey was missing somewhere and they were trying to track her down, and Max was doing some investigating. So he rang a salon and he gave a false identity as Rex Manning. And that has just lived rent free in my heart for a very long time. But yeah, so Rex Manning for Max, and my ultimate is Matt Phelan for Pat Phelan in Coronation Street.
Absolutely. Wow.
Bring Connor McIntyre back. Actually, you can't because Sue Cleaver has just left, because really what you wanted was Matt Phelan, the nice brother of Pat Phelan, turning up on Eileen Grimshaw's doorstep, but she's not in it anymore, so it don't really work.
No, sadly not. Who else could you get in Corrie? We've had, so like the most recent big bad has been Joel, evil Joel, boo. So what about, he had a identical twin brother, Noel Deering, and here he is. He's come to get a job at with Dee Dee and Adam because he's also a lawyer. Do you think, actually, do you know what? We see Joel Deering every other day in a flashback or as a ghost, so we probably see enough of him. So yeah, we're probably all right. But maybe Noel Deering is out there somewhere.
Could you imagine if Dee Dee opened the door? I mean, that would be the next chapter, especially as she's got the child of Joel. But yes, you're right. We did see him as a ghost recently. So evil twin, I'm not seeing that for him just yet. But I do love the concept of it all.
Yeah, I mean, more of it, please. And again, Hollyoaks breaking boundaries, bringing in the evil identical twin, such a Hollyoaks thing to do. Take note, other soaps. We want that in your shows.
Now, you were telling me earlier that you really want to see a dream team for Jez as this storyline of his continues. Tell me now.
Well, remember when Claire Devine was in it before when she died and came back 38 times ago? And she teamed up with Dr. Branning, remember? And Dr. Branning at the time was like the big villain. Also, we had the gloved hand killer team up with Silas when they were both in it at the same time. So I'm seeing that you've got Claire Devine back and you've got Jez, serial killer in situ. I think a Jez and Claire team up. I don't know. And it's almost like, who would win in that showdown? I mean, Jez has killed more people. But yeah, what do you think? Jez plus Claire equals carnage. And yeah, watch out Hollyoaks. And they just imagine the fun those actors would have.
I don't think Hollyoaks is big enough for the both of them, though. Even if they teamed up for a short time, one of them is just going to want to take down the other one. Jez because he's a trophy killer, and Claire because she just might fancy it. So, yeah,
It might be on Claire, dare I say. I just think she's more shady and more schemy. I don't know. You see how exciting this is, and we've made it up, and it's not even happening. So, yeah, I would say money on Claire if it happened.
Actually, Johnny, I don't think you have made it up, because in the most recent issue of Inside Soap, we had a few words with Jeremy Sheffield when we were on the Hollyoaks Awards shoot with him. You can still vote for Hollyoaks in the Inside Soap Awards. Please get online and vote now. And Jeremy did hint that him and Gemma Bissix have got some stuff coming up. So I don't think you're as far off the mark as you think.
Okay, I wasn't even there for that shoot, so yeah, I've manifested this. But we have habit of doing this at Inside Soap, don't we? Because we're kind of so forensically watching them and kind of trying to guess what might happen next and kind of think, oh, what twist is left. Yeah, we do often manifest these things. Well, that's exciting. Thank you for backing up my theory and making it not look like I'm just sitting here making stuff up.
I was really happy to tell you it live on air in front of our listeners and our viewers and our readers. This is Johnny finding out live that something might be coming up for Claire and Jez.
This is my surprise face. Look, this is get a load of it. Yeah, thank you. Live as it happens. Live reactions, folks.
Well, that might be enough for me and Johnny for now, because as much as we can manifest things and dream up some amazing storylines, the lady that is actually going to tell you what's actually happening is the lovely Anna Passey. I caught up with her as we previewed this week of the Garden Centre. But not only did we talk about that, we spoke about this wonderful history that Anna has had with Hollyoaks. I mean, I remember when she first came into it, as Johnny referenced earlier, when she faked the pregnancy with Darren and Nancy, and there was that amazing scene of like the dress ripping off and exposing the fake baby bump. So yeah, we had a really lovely look back at Anna's time on the show. So you can hear from her now, and Johnny and I will be back with you next week with another guest. So welcome, Anna Passey, to Soap Scoop. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm great. Thank you.
Oh, it's really lovely to have you. And this is a really special chat for me, because I remember when you first joined Hollyoaks, and I'm all for that nostalgia of when she first joined and the sort of journey she's been on. But we have to cut to the chase of what's going on for you at the moment, because it's really big stuff. How shocked were you to learn that Sienna is now the daughter of a serial killer?
I'm pretty shocked to hear. I was pretty shocked to hear I'm not the daughter of Patrick Blake after all these years. So to have a new dad, Jez, is one thing, but then to find out he's a serial killer, what are the odds?
I know. What are the chances? And I mean, she's in a bit of a bind at the moment. She's faked the amnesia to buy time to escape Jez. But what did you think of that twist? Because it's not her first rodeo, kind of pretending to either be pregnant or ill.
No, she's pretty quick, isn't she, at coming up with these little plots? Yeah, I thought it was a very smart idea, because, I mean, she's got people around her. She's got Dodger. She's got Lib to think about. She's got Steve, all these people in her life. So she's like, I have to just take a minute to think about what the best way of keeping everyone else safe and getting out of this situation is.
Do you think she's got the wit to do that?
Yeah, I think she has. But one thing I think about Jez is I think she's never been more afraid, truly terrified of anybody. I was having this chat. And so she, of course, used to be really scared of her actual dad, Patrick, because she had this horrible upbringing with him, and he did these awful things to her, and he kept her away from everyone. And, he was a really awful man by all accounts, but he did love her. And, she always had that to fall back on, of like, I'm your daughter. And he, in his mind, wanted what was best for her. So she never had to feel like, oh, my dad might kill me. She didn't. She was like, well, no, that's dad, even though, he's this awful person. But with Jez, she doesn't know. Like, I think he could kill her. Like, she's really afraid. So for the first time ever, I feel like there's someone there that she's truly terrified of. And I think even like we can see it in the scenes that are coming up. It's a real fear. It's not a kind of, I'll get out of this, or I can outsmart him, or he won't hurt me really. I think she's truly terrified.
The week we're previewing, she's trying to escape the village, but Jez is just everywhere that she turns. Is there any way out of this for her?
I think the problem is she's got 2 kids, she's got Liberty, she's got Faith, she's got just all these other people in the village. So it's not just, and Cleo, it's not just about, I just need to run away. She can't leave him behind with everybody. So she's in this real pickle of, how can I make everybody be safe? And I think to start with, she thinks, I'll take everyone with me. And then after a while, she realizes that it's not going to work. Probably the only way is to take out Jez.
Oh my God, it's going to be the ultimate showdown.
Yeah, it's exciting.
He agrees to turn himself in because they have this moment where she breaks down and she explains this kind of connection between them. How genuine is that from her? And also, do we believe him when he says that he's going to turn himself in?
Yeah, I think it was a really interesting scene to play because I think everything she's saying is true. So the kind of bigger picture is she is sort of lying to manipulate him to get him to hand himself in. She absolutely hates his guts, but everything she's saying to him is true. She does understand what he means when he's saying like he's different and he does never fit in and he sees things differently. And she's always felt these things. It's just, she's not as extreme as he is. So there is a lot of sort of, there are a lot of genuine words that come out in that scene, which made it really easy for him to believe because I think it's very real. And so when he says he's going to hand himself in, I absolutely think he intends to.
Do you think, or would you like Sienna to be the one to bring him down?
Yeah. I mean, I know she's got this cop brother, but I think she's just been through the ringer, so she deserves the moment.
I definitely think if there's anyone that I would trust and rely on in this situation to triumph, it would be her.
Yeah, I know. She's got some form, hasn't she? She's had some previous experience.
But should viewers also be worried that she could be his next victim because it's not unlike Hollyoaks to pull off a few shocks?
Well, I have seen that a lot in the comments. People being, obviously yesterday we saw Sienna, they have a really honest conversation. Because I think when Sienna finds Robbie's body in the allotment, you think she's going to have to keep that from him and not let him know that she knows and make a plan. But she just comes out in the bathroom and says, like, why have I just found Robbie Roscoe in the allotment? And so I think there's that brutal honesty in that moment where we see that she's truly terrified when he's like, yes, very calm. Yes, I've done that. And I think in the comment section, everyone's like, oh, no, could Sienna be next? Because she knows now. And he knows that she knows, and there's no going back from it. She's, we're at this moment and, it's possible. It's the 30th, right? So we're expecting something big.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems wild to ask you about sort of happier times for Sienna when she's in the middle of this maelstrom of drama at the moment. But of course, we have Sienna and Cleo. What can you tease for us? Is there any hope of them raising the baby together, possibly a wedding? What do your wildest dreams envisage for them?
No, when I picture them, I love them so much together. And I picture them they've got to move out the flat. They've got to have some sort of little countryside cottage where Cleo's carrying a basket round with things she's picked from the garden and they've got chickens. I would love to see this happy ending for them, where they just have this really simple life. I think they've both been through so much that if anyone deserves it, you're just like, can they just be happy and can they just have some peace and a kind of normal life? But it is Hollyoaks, isn't it? And also, I think it's interesting. Sometimes you get couples that are kind of, their relationship is forged in difficult times, right? And they go through an experience and it bonds them in this way that no one else could understand. I think we have that from the starting point of Sienna and Cleo, but also with that comes the fact that it was forged in difficult times, so it doesn't ever feel quite solid and stable enough, and it's always going to be a little tumultuous. So we shall see. I mean, I love them together. I mean, me and Nadine ship it, so fingers crossed. But again, it's Hollyoaks, and there'll be something that won't make it be that easy.
What's been the best reaction you've had from the fans about their relationship?
People have loved it. And I wasn't sure to start with because, I mean, people loved Sienna and Summer, but Summer was she was a very different kettle of fish. And she wasn't a character that we knew very well. But Cleo is such an established character and Sienna is such an established character kind of in their own rights that I was like, people might not like it. People might just be like, no, it's Cleo and Joel and it's, Sienna and pick from the list, but people loved it, and it was really lovely to see. I think it's because they're two characters that we love, and they have been through a lot, and to see them find a bit of solace in each other is nice. So I was quite surprised at how quickly people were on board with it.
This must be really hard for you to pick, but who would you say overall has been the love of her life?
So we were doing this little, Hollyoaks do this little thing called like a Hollyoaks is it called a recap? Hollyoaks Reacts. So you watch, you go in blind and you sit at the table and they put together a package of lots of old scenes that you've done, and they can be from anywhere from when you've joined to now. And then they ask you questions about it. So we've literally just filmed that now. And there was a big list of who out of all of the I think they said it's like one of the biggest lists of relationships they've had from a character, and who is the one. And it's such a difficult question to answer because they all are so different. I mean, I don't think this is going to be surprising, but Sienna and Trevor for me were made to be together. Sienna and Trevor, I just thought were perfect for this short window of time. Don't tell Grace. But I think Sienna and Warren are the ones that you can't get past. And in the little recap, there's so much history there. And they've done some really terrible things to each other, but they also have made these two gorgeous twin children together. And I just think there's something in the history of them that you can't quite get past. So even though he was terrible for her, I think probably he was the one.
That was going to be one of my questions, actually, because we know that Warren is back for Hollyoaks Later. I don't know how much you can tell us, but is there any chance of the two of them crossing paths again?
I genuinely don't know the answer to that question, because I had the two little kids that play our twins in the show. They're brilliant kids, and they love me, but they love Jamie, who plays Warren. Like, they're obsessed with him. He's so great with them. And I had them in the other day, and they were like, is Warren coming back? Is he come back for us? Does that mean we're going to see him and we're going to have scenes? And I was like, I don't know, but they're so excited for it. I hope so. And obviously last time we saw Warren, he was very much with Mercedes and kind of a whole plot over here. So Sienna and Warren haven't really had much for quite a few years together. Not since like Norma was on the scene. So maybe this is the year we see a bit of Sienna and Warren action. But yeah, it's great that he's coming back.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we were discussing, you have been with the show for 13 years now. What has been a highlight, if you can pick anything?
It's hard because there's so much. And I was saying to my partner at home the other day, I was like, I'm really tired. And I was like, but like always tired. Like, I feel like I'm missing a supplement. And he was like, I think you've just played Sienna Blake for 13 years and you're tired. And then when you do the little recap and you go back over the years, you're like, oh my gosh, there's been so much. Like, very rarely is she sitting in the pub having a drink and like a chill. She's normally up to something. But I have to say, we were just watching back the Hollyoaks Halloween maze fire stunt sequence. And that period of time, I think, when we had Nico, when we had Warren, and obviously all of the Nancy and Darren stuff had happened, but there's all that history there. I think that era for me was great. And I was looking at that stunt. I think it's one of the biggest stunts they've done. And I remember we went down to Channel 4, went down to London, did this big promo for it. And I think that was probably my favourite era.
I love that you mentioned Nancy and Darren, because for me, that was obviously when she first came into the show, and just that reveal where you find out that she's not really pregnant. That is classic soap.
It's wild, isn't it? It's almost like, how can that... It's funny when you watch it back in like isolation. I just saw a little clip of it and it's so funny. It's like this big old like chicken fillet belly. It's really amusing. But at the time, like, we were all so invested in it. And it showed, I think it's the power of a soap, because when you invest in those characters and in that situation, anything can be as real as you want it to be, right? And when you just see a tiny snip of it, it looks ridiculous. We were so invested in it. Like, the audience was so invested in it. We would get scripts and be like, oh my gosh, how does it go next? What happens next? And it was so real. It was so brilliant and real. So yeah, the Darren and Nancy thing, and the Osbournes are such a brilliant family. Obviously they won Best Family, an award for it this year, which is so nice to see. And I think they're such a huge, big foundational block of Hollyoaks. And then you had this one character come in and just get across all of it. She was, with Darren and Nancy and ruining this and wrecking that and stealing that kid. And it just really shook things up. And I think that was a great time.
Do you watch those moments back and just think, wow, like that was 13? I mean, you've not aged a day, but.
No, you say that, but I was watching the very first scene ever just now. And I was like, I remember at the time feeling like a fully fledged grown up. I actually remember thinking like, I'm quite old now. And I look at it and I just see like, I just look so young there. And it feels like a million years ago and also like yesterday. Time is a funny thing when you work on a soap.
It is. You know, Sienna has really stood the test of time. She's done some terrible things, but fans still root for her. Why do you think it is that they love her so much? And do they reach out to you? What's the reaction like?
Yeah, she's really loved and it's a lovely thing. And sometimes I think I understand why, and other times I can't understand why, really, because she has done some crazy things and it almost doesn't matter what she does. They are there for her, they're with her. And it always feels like Sienna's the character. People often say, like, if you're picking for a dinner party or if you're choosing a night out with, or if you would be in a show, who would you be with? And people often say Sienna, because she can cause chaos in an empty room, right? She's just got a lot. And I think everybody messes stuff up. I mean, she messes things up to the extreme, right? But you always can see why she's doing it. And I think what's so lovely about having been on the show so long now is that people have been with us that whole time. People that have watched from the first, or way before she first came in. So they've known her such a long time. They know what she's likely to do and they understand what she's going to do before she does it. And it's like a bit of ownership of something, isn't it? It's a bit like, well, I know her, so I can forgive her. And it's a great thing. But yeah, it's kind of remarkable. And I'm so grateful for it. There's no way I would still be here if the audience didn't love her like they do. Because I was only ever supposed to be a year gig. It was a year and done, and I'm still here. And it's because the audience have taken her under their big wing, and it's lovely.
What's your next dream storyline for her, if there is possibly anything left?
Yeah, did I mention Cleo and the cottage and the chickens? I think that something peaceful and calm, although it's really nice. I think having had Jeremy Sheffield back and having Danny Mac, who plays Dodger, having those guys back in the show has given it this, like you were saying about nostalgia earlier, it's given it a bit of a feel of, years gone by. And so I think there's so much Dodger's come in as, we know he's a policeman and he's been undercover and we get snippets of where he's been, but we don't really know. And I think next it would be really nice to see, do a deep dive into Dodger and where he's been, who he is now. And I think Sienna and Dodger have always had this complicated relationship. So there's so much there that I just picture them at home, of an evening, when they're just in having tea. Are they ever like, oh, remember when we had that baby? Or do they just is it always the elephant in the room that they just don't really bring up all of that mad stuff? That's a different time. So I think, a little deep dive into where Dodger's been and who he is as a man now. I feel like he's come back quite changed and quite different to who he was, and he's grown up. So I think, a storyline where we see a bit more of the twins together. Yeah, let's see where that goes, I think.
Yeah, I think that would be really interesting for fans, because you're exactly right about that elephant in the room situation. It's just not mentioned.
No, she chained him in a basement at Christmas and tried to marry him. I mean, it's whenever it's Christmas dinner, is it like, oh, do you remember that one year when I chained you to the basement feeding you sprouts and thought we would get married? I put a wedding dress on, thought we would get married. Brilliant.
Iconic scenes. Obviously, you mentioned Jeremy coming back, and there's so many twists and turns in Hollyoaks. I mean, if you could bring any other character back from the dead, who would you choose?
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh my gosh, there's so many as well, isn't there? Who would I bring back from the dead? I mean, selfishly, is Nico dead? Yeah, I killed her. Selfishly, I'd quite like to have Nico back. She was just great. She was a brilliant actress, and Persephone, who played her, a great character. And I feel like it was so intense when she was there. It was always so intense, but and it seemed to go really quickly. And then when you look back at it, you're like, that was for Sienna to have that troublesome daughter. That was a great time. I would probably bring her back, especially now we've got Dodger back. I'd probably like to see her back in the show, but also Trevor. And not just for Sienna, because I do think Trevor and Sienna had this really beautiful thing. But I think Grace and Trevor as well, they were such an iconic pairing. And Greg Wood, who played Trevor, he's just one of my favourite actors. I think he's absolutely brilliant. So maybe we'd have him back as well.
Well, nothing's impossible in Hollyoaks Land, especially with the 30th coming up.
Really.
What can you tease? Because I feel like it's going to be epic.
It is. It's going to be huge. And I feel like it's not just one thing. There's loads of different things going on. There's lots of elements to it. And obviously we've got the Laters as well, which is something we haven't seen for years. The building is just a buzz at the moment because there's so much going on. And there's this real, I think with having Hannah as well, there's this like nostalgic feeling for things that we've already done, but also this like real desire to give the audience that have been with us for that long something really epic that they're going to really enjoy watching. So I can't tease too much about what's going to be in it, but everyone's involved and there's some big things and then there's other smaller things and some sneaky things, and it's going to be great.
What's your earliest memory of watching the show back in the day before you joined?
Being a student, and it would be on. To be honest, I never watched it. I wasn't really a soap person. My grandma, Pam, she watched Coronation Street religiously. And when we were little children, as soon as you would hear that music, you knew you had to get out of the living room, and she would close the doors and you had to be quiet, or like you'd be in so much trouble because you couldn't miss it. But I never had a soap of my own that I watched. But at university, at one point I lived in a house of 12 girls. It was like this massive, it was like half netball team and half a hockey team. And there was 12 girls, and you couldn't go anywhere without hearing the like, da, 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 because everybody had it on. But I was like a very hard worker. I was always the girl reading when everyone else was not doing any work whatsoever. And I took a lot of courses I had to read like 3 or 4 books a week. So I always had my head in a book, and it'd always be like, can you turn that off? And going in and asking them. And I remember on several occasions being like, can you turn Hollyoaks off, please? I've got serious work to do. And so it's funny now, but here I am.
I hope they're watching and thinking, remembering you telling them off.
It's funny. Yeah, well, that was a while back.
And what is the secret to Hollyoaks lasting 30 years, do you think?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it's the people, honestly. It's a funny place, and I have nothing to compare it to because I've never worked on another soap. But the love that people have for it in this building, and people that have been here for a short time, or people that were on it at the beginning and they're not on it anymore, there's a fondness for it that is not really describable. And when people just love it so much internally, and I think every character, everyone in every department, everyone's so invested in it as a thing. And I think then when you're all putting so much love and care into something and you put it out there into the world, it's almost impossible for other people not to love it too. And so I think it's the people in the building, and then also on the flip side, the people that watch it, they love it. It's amazing. It still like knocks my socks off. It's not just oh yeah, I just have that on in the background, or yeah, I watch it because this and the other. It's like people are so invested in it, and you see it when an actor's doing a really big issue-led storyline, and you see the letters that come in. It like gives me goosebumps. The letters from people that have said, maybe it's Ashley Taylor Dawson's done a storyline, and people write in and say, oh my gosh, I needed that, and I saw it, and it helped me get help, or it helped me realize this, or you have no idea how much that supported me. I think that element that runs through the show, especially because traditionally we have had a lot of young audience members in the mix, I think it offers something that nothing else really does. And so the loyalty, and it's amazing. It's amazing how invested people can get in something in a soap. And I don't think you can do that for any other type of show, because you might get your 8 parts and you love watching it. And you might see the actor be like, oh, they're great. I would say hi to them. I really enjoyed doing that. But people, they know these characters like they're real people, and they stick with them for life. And it's kind of an incredible thing.
Yeah, it really is. Like, the power of soap opera never fails to amaze me. And the more that we can celebrate these lovely milestones that you're achieving, the better, really. Before I let you go, just one fun question. Any tips on how to survive a soap serial killer?
Oh, it's a good one. Get yourself a good pair of trainers is number one. You have to have good running shoes. The amount of running away I have been doing is a lot. So don't be coming to the table with some high heels or a wedge. You won't survive. You've got to be quick. And also, don't tell anyone else. The second you tell someone else, that's it, you're a goner. You have to keep everything to yourself. You have to almost tell everyone that could help you, but don't actually tell them, because once it's out your mouth, you're gone. You have to keep it a secret. Don't know why. It's just the rules.
It's like an episode of The Traitors.
Yeah, don't trust anyone. Keep your cards very close to your chest.
Well, thank you so much for joining Soap Scoop, Anna Passey. It's been an absolute joy to have you. And for our listeners, please don't forget to like and subscribe so we can bring you more of these brilliant chats. Thank you so much, Anna.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun.